So when it comes to choosing a rotisserie for your charcoal Weber grill, you can go for the official one from Weber, but £185 and it looks a bit naff. Or you can go for this Onlyfire one on Amazon. It's $89.99, you get a 10% off code. So is it any good? Well, in this video I'll unbox it, build it, do my first ever rotisserie cook on it, and then let you know. First off, the unboxing. Now I have myself some Amazon Prime, so this arrived next day delivery, and I will put the link to these on Amazon in the description. My first impressions of this were all pretty good, to be honest. Everything felt pretty good quality and was very easy to put together. The only tool you'll need for this is a Phillips screwdriver rather than a posi drive. If you don't know the difference, ask your mum. And you just want to go for the third hole down, and that'll line the rotisserie up perfectly. Now it's fully assembled, let's see if it fits on the Weber. And no surprises here, it fits perfectly. The Weber I'm using here is a Weber Master Touch 57cm, but any 57cm Weber BBQ will work. Now, moment of truth, will it spin? Yes, it will. I am really impressed with the build quality on this. All the components seem really solid, and they've thought about the little details like this little section that stops it sliding off, which I've had happen before on other rotisseries. So now it's time to test this thing out. So for this thing's maiden voyage, I am going to cook a chicken on it, whole chicken rotisseried. Now I always spatchcock my chickens and cook them like that. I've never done a rotisserie whole chicken before, so this is an experiment. Now I really want to see what the rotisserie does to the chicken skin, so instead of any rub, I'm just going to salt it. And then leave it in the fridge for a couple of hours for a bit of a dry brine. And while that's chilling out in the fridge, it's time to set up the barbecue for the rotisserie cook. I'm just going to fill up a full chimney starter with some restaurant grade charcoal. It's going to do it halfway up, then use the leftover charcoal that I had from my last cook, and then finally top it off with some fresh charcoal all the way to the top. Light a couple of firelighters underneath, put it back on top, and leave it for about 30 minutes. Which will give me just enough time to pop down to the allotment to grab some herbs to shove in my chicken. Got myself some rosemary, a little bit of parsley, and some thyme. I do also need a whole lemon, but ever since the cost of living I've had to get the butler to close down the orangery, so I went to Tesco and picked one up for 30p. The lemon and herbs are going to be stuffed into the cavity of the chicken. They're going to puff it up a little bit so that the breasts stick out, which we all like, and they're also going to flavour the meat from the inside. I'm excited to see how this turns out, because when you spatchcock a chicken, you can't really stuff it. After a couple of hours in the fridge, the chicken is looking great on top, but a bit wet on the bottom. Now, no one likes a soggy bottom, and I really should have dried this on a wire rack while it was in the fridge. Rookie error. Still, we'll carry on and give this bird a good stuffing. Stuffed absolutely to the brim with lemon and herby goodness, it's time to get this thing on the rotisserie. Now, I'm sure there is a way to do this better, but when I tried it, the half a lemon I'd just put in immediately popped out, but no matter, we'll just shove it back in and pretend it didn't happen. So when I knew I was going to be doing a rotisserie chicken for the first time, I reached out to a few barbecuers and asked what the best method was, and they thoroughly recommended I use some butcher's twine to tie it up. This is all well and good, but I don't have any butcher's twine. I needed to cook this today. So I'm going to do this weird thing where I sort of stuff the legs and hold them together with the cage and hope that works. That along with the wingtips tucked in, and it's looking alright. Just need to hope that this holds up during the cooking process where there'll be a little bit of shrinkage. But I am hoping, because it's one of the hottest days of the year, shrinkage will be kept to a minimum. As indeed is Mrs. Barbecue. With the second set of spikes nicely on, I can twist it round to make sure it's all central, and it's looking pretty good for a first attempt. The charcoal in my chimney starter now nicely lit and white hot. It's time to pour it out into my baskets. If you haven't got baskets, you could always just bank it up on one side or two sides like I'm doing here. Never let the kit you have stop you from doing barbecue. And it's back on with the rotisserie to see if it all works in real life. This also gives me a great excuse to use the drip tray that came with my Weber that I haven't actually used yet. The rotisserie kit actually comes with a counterweight on it. This is to make sure that even if you've got an uneven load, it can keep on spinning. Now, I'm not sure about the weight distribution of my chicken, so I've just set it at a sort of medium level and then I can adjust it during the cook. Another fantastic piece of advice I got is to have a couple of small pairs of pliers handy, because if the chicken does shrink during the cook and you need to adjust all those spikes, you don't want to be doing that with your bare fingers. So, will it turn with my whole chicken on? Yes, it will. And actually, as it starts to turn round, I realise I must have accidentally placed the counterweight in exactly the right position, because it's turning perfectly. It's beginner's luck, I suppose, but I'll take it. Now, do you need to get a rotisserie to cook a perfect chicken? No, not at all. You can cook a spatchcock chicken or do it in a million other ways. Well, maybe 7 other ways. But it is a new barbecue toy, and they're always fun. And it helps justify to myself my purchase of a wireless thermometer. You can get wired thermometers a lot cheaper, but on a rotisserie you have to have a wireless thermometer, because if you think about it, the cable's just going to get caught up if you don't. So 2 purchases justified there. And I'm going to leave it with the lid on and the vents open on the top about halfway, and then on the air intake one at the bottom I'm going to put it to about the 3rd large hole. I'm going to set my target temperature on my app for 74 degrees Celsius, and I can't help peeking in about halfway through to see how it's getting on, and this skin is looking fantastic. I'm really enjoying this thing so far. Can't wait to get stuck into this chicken. About an hour and 15 minutes into the cook, and my app is telling me that it is hit temperature, so it's time to check it with my second opinion handheld thermometer, which agrees it has hit 74-75 degrees, so it is ready to come off. This chicken is looking and smelling absolutely incredible. I'm so happy with my rotisserie so far. It's such a fun and visually impressive way to cook. So we know it looks fantastic and we know it smells fantastic, but does it taste fantastic? Let's get it inside and get it carved up. As always with your chicken, and indeed most meats, you want to let it rest, in this case for at least 20 minutes before carving up. I give the rod a very tentative touch to make sure it's not scorching hot, which it isn't. Don't forget to remove the wireless thermometer before carving into it. And then it's time to unimpale this poor chicken. To do this, I'm going to use some cotton liners inside my latex gloves. This means I can handle the chicken even though it's really hot. All you need to do to get the chicken off is slide off the top set of spikes and then just use the pull-out method with the other bit. If, like mine, your chicken has had lots of juice running off it, remember to save all that, because that is just pure flavour. And then it's on to the carve. I'm incredibly happy with how the breast of the chicken has worked out. And I'm very happy with my first rotisserie cook. Just time to get that nice end shot to finish the perfect video, and there we go, my 9-year-old can't help. Puts his hand right in the shot to grab some chicken. Well, proves it was nice, I suppose. And if you're in the mood for more fun barbecue shenanigans, then check out one of these 2 videos next.